Hello everyone, this is Rattue 498 and this is a 3v3 commentary battle. I'm playing as Sweden. Warsolian is playing as Russia. Batlle Tarleton as Portugal. And we are playing a third corps, and they are third corps Brunswick playing as Spain. NTW as Portugal. And also Rattue playing as Russia. This is a third attempt at this battle. The first attempt was a crash, so we had to rehost. The second attempt Steam changed the settings, so we had to rehost that one as well. The settings for this had to be medium-sized funds and medium-sized units, but unfortunately Steam changed the settings to large, so we had to rehost that one. Here we've got batlle Tarleton bringing his cavalry forward quite silly, and he's going to get charged, and then NTW as well will bring up some lines behind his cavalry to shoot Battle's cavalry, which Battle will take some pretty heavy losses about that. Okay, so the plan of this battle, because it was the third time, the first two times we attacked down my flank, so our plan was basically to attack down Battle's flank. It didn't quite work out the way we wanted it to, as you'll see a bit later on, but as it was, I've sent some cavalry across to Battle, and Warsolian has moved a lot of his Russians to the left hand side of his flank to allow Battle a bit more support as well when he tries to push forward. And here Battle just gets some free shots off as all his cavalry are routed. And this is Warsolian in the centre. He's taken up some good positions on the hill and in the forest, and basically the idea is myself and Warsolian weren't really planning to do much, weren't really planning to move, just basically do everything on the left hand side with Battle. My Spanish guy's moving up here. He will attack me very soon with the support of Russia. Russia's moving up a little bit on Warsolian as well. They're doing a little bit of a firefight there, nothing really to worry about. The Russian here as well supported the Portugal player on the opposite side. They've taken up position in the forest. If I was correct, I heard Warsolian say they wanted to take that forest at some point. And here the Spanish player has decided now to attack. I will instantly pull my forces backwards. I do not want to get into a full engagement in the position I was in. He would have ended up with a tree cover, which would have been severe losses for me, so I've decided to pull back as far as I can. I take positions up in the trees to the right and the left, and a thin line through the centre. And this is Warsolian having a little firefight again with the Russian. Little cavalry charge coming through for him there, which shouldn't cause him too many problems. As Warsolian's got the forest, I wouldn't really see he had too much of a problem there at all. And here I've charged some foot guards in to melee the two lines, as the foot guards were a lot better than the lines at melee, so I've taken them in to stop them from being able to flank me and get round the sides in the forest. Warsolian here, he's attempting to get flanked, and here they've moved their lines up to the centre, which is very silly. They should have just stayed back and kept their position in the forest and done all the fighting in the forest, because as it is, I've now got a better position. I am currently in the forest, and I'm going to take a lot less losses than them. And here my foot guard are now pulling out. Yeah, both the lines are now down to 40 odd men each, so they're down to half strength. And now he's going to do a cav charge into the forest, which is, in my opinion, very silly. The horses will slow down. And as I've formed square, they're basically just going to get all shot up, so there won't be a problem there. They're going to take a lot of losses, and there'll be minimal losses to me. I think the plan was for them to just shoot up my lines when they're in square, but unfortunately with the cavalry in front of them they're going to shoot a lot of the cavalry, and with me being in the forest there would be very minimal losses for me anyway, so it really wasn't a problem to me at all what he just did. He's left one unit in there to try and keep me in square, stop me from shooting, but they'll be routing very soon, and they're gone now. Left hand side's where I'd probably lose this portion of the battle against my opponent. In the centre now, pretty much a standoff between the Russians, and now because the battle's going on my side, pretty much a standoff against the Portuguese as well. I get cav charged again, a lot of Russian cav coming across to try and support, and then the Spanish cav come in as well, straight into squares. That isn't a problem either. I have now cav charged the guard on the Spanish left, and no square from him, so he has taken some heavy losses. The other unit formed square, but I managed to shoot them enough so they lost enough men so they could no longer form square. So there's those two units now that can't actually form a square, so my cavalry will just disrupt them until I manage to rout them. And over here I've got a foot guard firing in the forest with a line in front to give him a bit of cover. And Rattue here is going to attempt to flank. He will try and get round the sides of his opponent. And I'm still just in a line-on-line firefight at the moment. I've got better positions in the forest, so his centre will fall eventually as well. And as I say, my left-hand side, his right, will be where I would lose. He's got more men in the forest than I have, so I will pull away from there very, very shortly. I won't want to keep that fight going on. As his right and his centre have fallen, there's no point me wasting men. Russian have now brought more cavalry over to me, who I form a square instantly, and they will charge straight at the squares, and they will eventually all die. And here Rattue has managed to flank, and he's come around the sides of his opponent. He's just going to take line after line after line now. I think he's got 3 lines there firing at one, so it won't be long before they're all routing. And not really a lot was happening on my side apart from just a line-on-line fight there. Now the cavalry I sent over to batlle now I've decided to use, and they're going to charge in. They're going to disrupt the lines and the lights and everything they can hit basically to stop batlle getting shot when he moves his lines forward, which is the main point for my cavalry really. I do it for him quite a lot. Gives him a chance to move forward without being disrupted or hassled or anything, so he gets a good old shot away. As his men have got experience on, his lines are actually much better quality than the other players' Portugal line. My cavalry are now still just harassing right the way through the lines, and over on my side I've taken up positions in the forest waiting for Rattue, who's coming up behind. I probably could have beaten the Spanish player on my own, but didn't really see the point because Rattue was coming. Here I probably should have moved my cavalry forward or away from the lines shooting me behind, but I didn't, and they end up all routing, but that's not a problem. They've done their job, and batlle now has his flank, so he can now get through pretty easily, and they're just going to be in a line-on-line fight for a little while. And here I am in forest, and this is the Spanish guy repositioning to front me, but Rattue's coming up behind, so it won't be too long before he's there, and the Spanish guy will just rout away. And here we've been a lot of melee between Rorian, Rattue, both Russian, and batlle and Daval's Portugal as well, so all 4 of them in a bit of melee there. The Russians will win that pretty easily because they're much better at melee than the Portugal lines. Here obviously, right, we've got the Portugal left is pretty much folded now, so batlle will be able to pull around and flank completely. Rattue also coming in on the Portugal's other flank, so it won't be long before the Portuguese player is completely surrounded. And same for the Spanish guy now, who I believe is Brunswick. He's going to be completely surrounded and his units will just rout away. In these CWB battles, the reason we've all got pretty much minor units, minor factions, is you're only allowed to use a faction once throughout the whole competition against one other team, and you play 2 1v1s, 2 2v2s and 2 3v3s, and through that you're not allowed to use the same faction twice. So in this and the next game you're going to see a lot of minor factions being used. I think in the next game I would play as the Netherlands. And that was a good game to third corps. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.